How's it going, everybody? This is the Lego Icons Transformers Soundwave, and it has sounds. It also has a couple of cassette tapes that transform into other things appropriately. They can be put in there or ejected. And both of those do transform. We'll take a closer look at that. Also comes with this little stand with a miniature version of Soundwave over here with either option for cassette, to match the larger ones here. I paid $190 US for this. It comes with 1,505 pieces. Sorry about the warning label. That is a legal requirement. I know that bugs a lot of folks. Soundwave himself does also transform, and it's 180 euros, 160 pounds UK, or $230 Canadian. At 33 centimeters in height, or about 13 inches, this one is very, very competitive with Optimus Prime in its overall size and visual impact, significantly larger than Bumblebee. The build process for this honestly felt just normal, nothing really amazing as far as just putting the pieces together until some of the sub-assemblies come together. You make some serious sub-assemblies, and then once they come together, there are definitely some aha moments during the build. So it's not so much to me about really amazing build techniques. There were some interesting part usages in there and interesting ways that they got some geometry to work out. But for the most part, the assembly was straightforward, and until you recognize things like this right here. This just feels very good, and it even sounds pretty good because of the hollow and the use of the plastics here. Didn't build this up too much, so it just feels right. It even kind of bounces a little bit when it opens up, just like an actual cassette door would do back in the days, or a real one. It just feels right, and it's satisfying. You do have to get these, and I'll show you how these transform up, and I'll show them more closely as well. You have to get them transformed just right. Like, you need them to be properly squared up, and sometimes you saw that very first time. Right? It got stuck just a little bit. Sometimes it doesn't quite fully self-align in there, and this is the better of the two. This one's a little bit smaller in its overall bulk, but not as rectangular around the edges. That one fits in there better at first, or it's a little bit more loose, but like I said, not as rectangular around the sides. So you just have to be a little bit careful with the alignment for these things, but it is Lego, and I'm very satisfied with the end result, especially all things considered. This one does have some more of the nice plated, lacquered silver pieces you can see up here used in the head. The head build is kind of right to me, and they do give you the option to either use the red eyes or the yellow eyes, depending upon whether you want the toy version or toy accurate version, or the anime or cartoon accurate version. This right here is a print. This whole panel piece did come in its own separate small paper bag, which is extraordinarily rare in North America still to this day, unless you're part of the Lego influencer program and you get all the stuff sent to you for free directly from Denmark. But most of the rest of the decorations are done with stickers. So that sticker right there. Fortunately, the dark blue match, the color match, is not too bad. I think it's within an acceptable range. The gray here is also okay. I wish the gray was a little bit better, but it's not too bad. Interestingly, I was surprised that the play button there was also done with a sticker. I thought that since you do push that it would possibly be a print just for better wear. You've got sticker here, sticker there. I mean, this stuff is very accurate to the toy, more to the toy than the cartoon in general. And of course, I have to show you how all of it works. This has a good amount of usable articulation too. I don't like seeing all this hollow around the back, but it is around the back. You see a couple of just Technic connectors there, but for the most part, the color scheme is pretty decent. So the shoulder articulation, this can rotate all the way around, although it is a little bit lacking in stiffness. I feel like this might suffer the same problem that the Optimus Prime did with some of its joints over time, where it loosens up just from having so much weight on it, so much being under so much stress and so much tension, because the blaster here is rather heavy and it has quite a long lever arm. It's pulling a lot of mechanical advantage on that. You see, we got this doubled up elbow joint there, which is nice as well, which gives you a fantastic range of motion, way more than you would ever expect, at least that I would ever expect. And this is also able to splay out just in and out a bit, which is potentially useful. You also have the ability to rotate the hand around, and the individual fingers are able to articulate. You got 3 fingers and a thumb there, and the weapon is securely attached with Technic pieces. Same thing's going on over here on the side. The head is also able to move around a bit. That's on a ball joint, so you get just a little bit of forward and back, a little bit of rocking side to side, and it turns, which is the most important thing. And then coming down to the lower extremities, this is nice because you can rotate here at the hip. You can rotate like so, right? That's useful range, and you can also splay, and you also have knees that you can use. You have to be careful with some of the geometry only works in some ways for putting it into more interesting action poses, but you can make most of it work out decently well. And then down at the feet, these are able to slide or tilt from side to side to help get the tires on the ground, which are used for friction. So the legs don't want to split out from underneath of it. If you have it in more of an action pose, just helps to keep it properly grounded. We'll get to that. Accidentally pushed the button there. But this right in here is super satisfying the first time that you do it. That's part of the transformation. There are a whole lot of different panels in there that fold up together. It all folds out of its own way, but that's also part of the foot articulation, down at the ankle. So it's partially functional just for display, in addition to working with the whole transformation process. So really, I'm just hopeful that some of these joints will last longer than the ones in Optimus Prime and maintain their strength. But I am a little bit worried about this shoulder joint over here, again, with the full weight of the blaster. These are Laserbeak and Ravage. That is a print right there for the inner sprocket, and the Decepticon logos are prints, which is really nice to see. I think we're going to see a spare of that as well. This looks great. Nice and rectangular. This a little bit rough around the edges. Only comes with these two. If you want to build others, go to Rubricable. They are already out there. But the transformation is relatively straightforward, as you might expect for something like this. It's small and it is Lego. You cannot expect absolute perfection out of something of this size, but I'm personally completely satisfied with it. I think that they did more than a good enough job, and the fact that these do actually transform itself is a very good thing, and it's believable enough. It's close enough, definitely more than close enough if you ask me, and that's a print right there on the side. That's a print right there, and there's that Decepticon logo right there as well, reused again. So yeah, not too shabby for something made out of Lego, and it works as a cassette. And just like with the original toy, this is a partial parts former in that you do need to add the booster and weapon parts separately. And I think that's completely reasonable in Lego form, especially considering that, again, the original toy had you doing the exact same thing. If they didn't require you to add those parts, it technically would be inaccurate and canonically incorrect. So yeah, this works out, and it looks obviously even better this way, more like a proper action toy. In my personal opinion, the transformation process for Laserbeak does not feel as satisfying, but that's okay. It still definitely works. There's the little head right there with the print on both sides. And surprisingly, this is actually able to stand on the ground. It doesn't fall forward. And this one also has the parts forming parts. So you bring these in, just little assemblies you just keep off to the side. They don't give you any place to hold these. It would have been nice if maybe the stand was able to hold them as just a little extra accessory for the Lego version of it. But yeah, you put those on there, and that's, again, plenty accurate enough, and its center of gravity is perfectly fine. So yeah, once again, it looks like what it's supposed to be, and it's satisfying as a Lego build and good enough, I think, as a collectible and just a cool thing to see and to demonstrate. To transform Soundwave himself, you are going to take off the weapons, so both the one held in the hand and the launcher on the shoulder. You get to do this very, very satisfying thing that you will definitely, if you get this, do again and again and again, just to experience it. These cover up from the back. The wrists break backwards as well, separately. And like with Optimus, you break the shoulders, but in this case, you bring them back, not forward. And then I was warned that this step was not that great. Sometimes that you might have a little bit of lack of success with it, but for me, I don't know. That's perfect. Perfect RNG there, but I find this to actually come together pretty nicely. And it does self-align a bit. Kind of just everything wants to go where it needs to. And now basically you're getting a general idea of how this is going to end up. The head, of course, needs to be folded away. They got a little compartment for that. And finally, the weapons, you just take the barrel out here. These get attached onto the back. So at least there's a place for them. And keeps everything together, which is a lot better than not doing so, kind of the default. But you end up with a pretty decent looking stereo micro cassette recorder. Hit the eject button, toss a mixtape in there. This is Laserbeak, so, oh, hey, it worked, first try. And hit play. I honestly wish that there was a little bit more separation between these two side buttons, the forward and rewind buttons, fast forward and rewind. Just a little bit of gap there to make those look more separate. But I mean, that's a tiny, tiny nitpick. However, as soon as you start to turn around the side, now this isn't as great to look at because it didn't fold up all the way. And of course, when you turn around the back, we already saw what was going on there, right? This is not cute. It's not fooling anybody. If you don't see this thing pretty much directly from the front, it's not quite looking right. Even just a little bit from above, you're seeing these whole shoulder things out here, which is just not the best. So it's not a complete transformation, not as complete of a transformation as with the others, unfortunately. Part of that, I know that the designers tried very hard to make it work better than this, but this is what they came up with. This is the compromise. I think it looks fine on a shelf like this. It's cool that it does transform at all. Some of the individual joints and everything are nice, but ultimately this is just not convincing, right? Here's one last look at the little plaque. This is done with a large sticker there, unfortunately, and the little miniature version of his boombox form, in-universe boombox form with the mass shift going on there, shows you either Laserbeak or Ravage, and these are some very nice prints. Nice to see. And this one does have a more proper transformation shown around the back. I like this. These are the leftover parts, including an extra Decepticon logo there, and these are the spare eyes for the swap to the yellow version. This is what the sticker sheet looked like. Quite a few stickers. Some of these are fairly important for the details. And like I said, the taped door piece with the print did come in a very, very rare North American market paper bag. Here's how that head looks with the alternate eyes, by the way, if you're into that sort of thing. So again, I paid $190 US for this, and it's 1,505 pieces. It's 180 euros, 160 pounds UK, or $230 Canadian. I probably didn't pull the wings out on this, by the way, on Laserbeak here, all the way. Just get a little bit more wingspan out of it. Sorry about missing that a little bit. You can just bring it out a bit more if you want. A couple more slight differences to its look. I probably set myself up for disappointment here because I was so looking forward to this set. I should know better by now. If you're super optimistic, you can be really disappointed. If you're pessimistic, you can be pleasantly surprised. Oh yeah. So yeah, I did it wrong. And as a result, I don't know, this doesn't quite meet my expectations because my expectations were just too high. I was so excited about the thing. I like Soundwave as an in-universe thing and as a toy base in general. This thing is big. It has the sound brick in it, which is used really, really well. By the way, the sound brick is matched to his colors. It's dark blue and yellow, which is kind of cool. And, being able to actually do the transformations, the eject button, the fact that that exists and works, that's all like really, really cool stuff. This is down in here. This little transformation is nice as well, but I don't know. I build Gundams, so I'm not that easily impressed by joints existing. But overall, this is good. It's definitely good. I am definitely worried about this after the experience, the long-term experience with Optimus Prime. I'm worried about this right here. Not worried about that. Worried about this. You know, if you want to leave it posed with the blaster out, which I do, why would I not want to leave it posed like that? This just doesn't feel like it's gonna last now. Probably things by having the elbow back, you know, to reduce the length of the lever arm there, probably reduces the stress. Maybe it'll help it a little bit, but I mean that's a small thing, relatively speaking. Overall, it's just good. There's a lot of good with this. Good to very, very good. I don't mean to. I don't want to be down on it. I'm definitely not negative on it. Just again, expectations matter a lot. And that's one of the reasons that I stay out of the whole clickbait rumor leak thing, because people always set their expectations and set other people's expectations. And then if those expectations aren't met, when the real thing actually comes out and you get full pictures and videos and everything, then everybody gets mad about it. And that's just completely manufactured. It's unnecessary. See, I've done that to myself now from a certain point of view, in a certain way. Yeah, it's just good to very, very good. It's not amazing, in my personal opinion. You have limitations with the articulation, although it is nice to also have the knees. You know, it's going above and beyond basic toy level. The size is fantastic. Value, how do I feel about value? I mean, the sound brick, you know, obviously is a lot more expensive for Lego to produce than individual regular ABS plastic pieces, but plenty of companies out there do sound, you know, things with sound in them and have been doing them for decades now for real cheap. So it's not like that adds $10 to the cost, although it could easily add $10 to the value, because I like pushing that thing, and it definitely increases the experience. I appreciate the prints, the small prints on there. I want a bunch of Decepticon and Autobot logos, both in different sizes. You know, as prints, I appreciate the bright silver colored parts. There aren't a whole lot of them on here, but they're enough. Probably if the rest of this was done with prints, I would feel like it was more of a premium product, because that feels good. These feel good. And I'm not a sticker hater, as I'm very, very clear about, but I really like the prints in this. They feel special to me. You know, the fact that they're branded, they're official Transformers things, just feels extra special with the whole nostalgia play that they're going for here. All that works for me as someone who grew up in the 80s. Even though I didn't watch Transformers a lot, still I was affected by it. Again, these are good, not amazing, but for something made out of Lego, really good trick. I could not have done that well myself. And again, with the prints, like these two, like I want those to use for other things. So yeah, if the whole thing was printed, I honestly would feel a lot better as someone who doesn't even hate stickers, who's used to stickers, who has a whole binder full of stickers for doing custom stuff. Like I actually buy stickers by themselves for Lego stuff. Yeah, those were, oh yeah. And then of course, the transformation form, the boombox form, looks great from the front and not great from any other angle. I hope that this has been valuable to you as a review and, you know, perspective from somebody who's not a Transformers hyper fan, who is also probably not a hyper fan of Lego, but likes it a lot, but, you know, is willing to recognize flaws and, you know, willing to say things that I don't love particularly. You know, I can just like some things, or I can just be kind of okay with some stuff. And overall, I'm at the like stage, or the like level with this. Definitely not okay, definitely above okay, but not like love. Not in love with it. I want to say I like Optimus Prime more than this. I'm closer to the love with Optimus Prime, in spite of its long-term durability issues with the joints. It just feels more right to me as an entire experience. But value, keep skipping over that. I don't know. When I look at other Transformers stuff, you know, you're going to look at like Masterpiece, something Masterpiece in the sub $200 range is going to be approximately 10 inches tops, 10 to, you know, maybe 9 inches. Of course, it will transform, or you can go with 3.0 DLX and you're going to get a really highly detailed figure that does not transform. And that's going to be a little bit taller. So that's going to be actually closer to this. It's going to be something more around this, just in terms of amount of stuff, but way more detailed, way better as a collector item. But this is Lego, and that is special. The fact that this is made from Lego has value. I think it's interesting. It's an interesting novelty. It's not just a thing that happens to be Lego. It's mixing together different toys in a very cool way. And I think there's some value to that. But overall, 190, I don't know. I don't feel it's just relative to other things on the market that are licensed through Takara Tomy, Hasbro at all. I don't know. It doesn't really feel that bad value-wise to me. For the amount of plastic that's here, yeah, it feels bad. But relative to other Transformers things, and this does actually transform, which is really rare to get something that is not from Takara Tomy or sold by Hasbro that does transform. It's very rare. Hey, I don't think it's that bad. I don't think that the price is a major issue here, relatively speaking. How many times am I going to say that? Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.